We are currently watching some very unusual institutional activity happening on the XRP ledger, and in this video, I want to break down exactly what we are seeing and what this could potentially do to the price of XRP. Like always, your support means so much to this channel, and I want to thank everyone who likes these videos and subscribes, because those two simple actions really help the channel grow. With that said, let's get straight into what is unfolding and why so many people are becoming extremely excited about it. One of the most powerful things about the XRP ledger is that it is a public, decentralized ledger, which means that if large institutional actors are preparing something, the footprints of their activity can be seen whether they intended it or not. We do not necessarily know exactly which institution is behind it, but the patterns allow us to form a strong hypothesis, and I believe you will be very interested in who this might be connected to. Right now, the most obvious thing taking place is a massive account creation event on the XRP ledger. Usually, the ledger sees a couple of thousand new accounts opened per day, and an XRP account essentially represents either a new user or a new private key being initiated. It is important to remember that exchanges often mask the true number of users because an exchange might have one large account internally divided among many customers. So when we look at the raw number of accounts being created directly on the ledger, we get a much clearer idea of how many entities are actually onboarding into the ecosystem. What we are seeing now is completely unprecedented, with nearly 40,000 new accounts being created in just a few days, and that alone already tells us that someone is building something very large. At first glance, this data does not tell us much about the nature of the activity. It could be some wave of retail interest or a new application causing a surge, but when you dig deeper into the structure of these accounts, the picture becomes much clearer. These accounts are not being created like ordinary user accounts. They show behavior consistent with infrastructure construction, segregated accounts, institutional sub-accounts, automated wallet generation scripts, new custodial vault structures, and compliance-driven architecture. That immediately tells us that this is not retail speculation and not a meme coin hype wave. This looks like a highly sophisticated institutional player preparing an entire system on the XRP ledger. Whoever is doing this is not simply setting up one large wallet to divide among users. They are intentionally creating individual XRPL wallets at scale, and that aligns with the core advantage of the XRP ledger. It is incredibly cheap, fast, and efficient to create massive ledger-based infrastructure. On most blockchains, a setup like this would be extremely expensive or nearly impossible, but the XRP ledger was designed from the beginning to support institutional-grade scalability. Now let's talk about who might actually be behind this. My hypothesis aligns perfectly with Jungle Inc.'s analysis. The entity doing this appears to be Robinhood. A few months ago, Robinhood acquired Bitstamp, a major exchange that has had a long relationship with Ripple. Before Robinhood acquired them, Bitstamp and Ripple were working together to build a new crypto derivatives exchange, and after Robinhood took control, that project seemed to go quiet. But recently, there has been a flood of news regarding Robinhood preparing their own derivatives offering, and the timing matches perfectly with the massive account creation pattern happening on the XRP ledger. Given Robinhood's enormous size, their institutional expansion, and Bitstamp's intimate involvement with Ripple, it makes perfect sense that Robinhood could be using Bitstamp's infrastructure to build a first-of-its-kind derivatives exchange directly on the XRP ledger. This would give them global speed, cheap settlement, and access to XRPL's advanced capabilities, something no other blockchain is truly optimized for at this scale. Of course, this could theoretically be another major institution, such as Hidden Road or Rail, but everything we know so far points more strongly toward Robinhood. If this is indeed Robinhood, it means one of the fastest-growing brokerages in the world is quietly building a massive XRP-based infrastructure product, and with ETFs now going live, seeing a Wall Street darling integrating directly with the XRP ledger would be a powerful vote of confidence for institutional adoption. What makes this even more important is that institutions today want more than tokens. They want real utility, they want real settlement rails, real liquidity routing, real value transfer, and real network effects. And the XRP ledger provides all of that, which separates it from countless other crypto projects that institutions simply dismiss as speculative. What we might be seeing right now is exactly what mass crypto adoption will look like. Mass adoption does not mean 40,000 individuals deciding to create wallets one by one. Mass adoption happens when one major institution instantly creates 40,000 accounts and integrates blockchain technology directly into their existing user base. And this is exactly how the internet evolved. Nobody interacts directly with internet protocols. People interact with applications built on top of those protocols because companies package the technology into familiar user experiences. In the same way, millions of people will use blockchain without ever learning how to generate a private key or manage a wallet. Institutions will build those layers for them, and this is precisely the path Ripple and the XRP ledger have focused on for years: institutional first adoption at global scale. Now let's shift into the XRP price chart, because something extremely interesting is happening when we compare the current 2025 structure to the structure from 2017. Many people right now are bored, frustrated, or convinced that XRP is weak or falling into a bear trend. But if you overlay today's chart with 2017, the similarities are almost identical. In 2017, just when people believed XRP was dead, it suddenly launched into one of the biggest parabolic moves in the entire history of crypto. Some people believe this pattern is intentionally designed to shake out retail before major moves. Whether intentional or not, the chart shows that XRP often moves hardest when people least expect it. Right now, sentiment is extremely low, and historically that has been a signal that a major move is near. We have a long list of bullish catalysts lining up: ETFs, institutional infrastructure, derivatives exchanges, large-scale account creation, and rising utility demand. When sentiment is dead and people believe the asset will never move again, that is often the exact moment right before the next explosive leg. The back end of this year and the early part of next year appear increasingly positioned for significant price action.